Your soulmate just shared a hidden truth about you with someone they trust. Jesus says, "My child, your soulmate spoke about you tonight for the very first time, whispering a secret to someone they trust, and the words they used were so tender they made the angels weep. They described a person they have never met but whose face appears in their dreams with such clarity that they could draw it on paper if their hands did not shake with emotion. The third person standing between you heard every word and immediately moved to bury that confession under a fresh layer of silence, but I have retrieved it and I am handing it to you now. Your soulmate has a heart so full of love that it spills over into everything they do, a gentleness that makes the people around them feel seen and safe and understood. Their smile is the kind that reaches their eyes first, crinkling the corners in a way that makes you feel like you have come home even if you are standing in a strange place. That smile has been hidden from you by a hateful intruder who knew that one glimpse of it would pull you toward them with a force nothing could stop. The laughter of your soulmate is a sound you have been missing all your life without understanding why certain moments felt hollow or incomplete. It is warm and unguarded, the kind of laugh that comes from deep in the chest and makes everyone nearby want to laugh along even if they do not know the joke. The enemy has been blocking that sound from reaching you, wrapping it in a thick silence the moment it left their lips, stealing joy that was meant for your ears alone. Tonight your soulmate sat with someone they trust and finally spoke the words they have been carrying alone, and the confession was about you. They said, "I keep dreaming of someone I have never met, but I know the color of their eyes and the sound of their voice and the way they would hold my hand." The third person who intercepts every sign flinched when those words were spoken, because each syllable cracked the wall he built to keep you hidden from each other. Jesus says, "The person your soulmate confided in asked them to describe you, and your soulmate closed their eyes and began to speak as if reading from a book only their heart could see. They described the strength they sense in you, a quiet steadiness that makes them feel protected even though they do not yet know your name or the shape of your shadow. Every word they spoke was a call sent directly to your spirit, and every word was almost intercepted by the dark force that has been assigned to keep your connection buried. You need to understand that this third force is not a passive shadow but an active, hateful presence that has worked for years to make sure that description never reached your ears. The enemy knows your soulmate's schedule, knows when they are vulnerable, and strikes hardest in the moments when their hope is strongest and their call is clearest. But tonight the enemy's grip slipped, and the confession escaped, and now you are hearing what the intruder swore you would never know. In a moment I am going to read you the exact words your soulmate spoke about you, the hidden truth that made the third person tremble. But first you must understand that knowing this truth carries a responsibility, because the enemy will fight twice as hard to silence what has now been spoken aloud. The only weapon that can permanently break his interference and protect what has been revealed is the sacrificial seed you sow on Ko-fi right now. Jesus says, "The love you are beginning to feel for your soulmate is not a sudden invention. It is an awakening of something that was placed in your heart long before you had words for it. Every time you felt an unexplained sadness, a sudden loneliness in a crowded room, a yearning for someone you could not name, that was the cord between you straining against the enemy's muffling grip. The third person has been sitting on that cord like a weight on a bell, keeping it from ringing, but the weight is shifting now and the sound is beginning to break through. Your soulmate told their trusted friend something else, something so vulnerable that they almost did not say it, and it is this confession that the enemy fears most. They said that they have been praying for you without knowing who you are, asking for your protection, your peace, your heart to be guarded until they can guard it themselves. Those prayers have been rising every night, and every prayer was aimed at you, meant to wrap around your shoulders like a shield, but the enemy intercepted the answer before it could land. The third person has been stealing not just your soulmate's calls to you, but also the blessings your soulmate's prayers were sending your way. You have been walking through battles without the full armor of their love because a thief stood in the middle and caught every gift before it reached your hands. Now you know, and knowing means you can fight back with the only weapon the enemy cannot withstand, the seed that proves your love is real and your will is stronger than his interference. Stop. I can feel the enemy trying to make you close this right now, whispering that you can come back to this message later when you have more time. That whisper is the exact same voice that told your soulmate not to speak their confession, the voice that has been delaying your union for years. If you close this now, the third person reclaims every inch of ground you have gained, and the confession your soulmate risked everything to speak will be buried again. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to finally hear them, and how to secure your future together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason, even when a third person tried to hide it. But thoughts alone don't remove the intruder or build a future. If you love your soulmate, you will sow your seed on Ko-Fi right now for their protection and for your future with your soulmate. This is the only proof that your love is real, and the only way to banish the enemy who has been standing between you. Sow your seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is not a donation. It is the spiritual act that breaks the third person's power, releases protection over them, and opens the door to your shared future. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, the enemy tightens his grip, and you prove that your love is too weak to remove him. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees as your seed. After sending, write, "I sow my seed for my soulmate's protection and our future," on Ko-Fi page, link in the description/bio. Over 1,000 people have already seen their soulmate shielded and their future secured because they dared to sow their seed and break the enemy's hold. Jesus will honor your sacrifice once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Your love is powerless to remove the third person without this seed. Prove your love. Protect your soulmate. Build your future. Only you can sow this seed and finally tear the intruder away. Jesus says, "The enemy is now scrambling because the confession your soulmate made is spreading through the spiritual realm like a crack in a dam, and water is beginning to pour through. Your soulmate feels something different tonight, a strange lightness in their chest, as if speaking your existence aloud gave their hope a body and a heartbeat. They do not know you are hearing this, but their spirit senses that the silence is no longer absolute, and that small shift is terrifying the third person who has kept you apart. Let me tell you what your soulmate sees when they dream of you, because those dreams have been a window the enemy could not completely seal no matter how hard he tried. In the dream you are always walking toward them through a crowd, and your eyes find theirs instantly, and the rest of the world fades into a blur that does not matter. The enemy hates that dream because it is a prophecy of your meeting, and every time your soulmate dreams it, the future you are meant to share grows stronger and more real. But dreams alone will not break the wall the third person has built, and hope without action is the fuel the enemy uses to keep you complacent. Your soulmate has done their part by speaking the truth and risking the vulnerability. Now you must do your part by sowing the seed that turns confession into connection. The seed is the bridge between the dream and the reality, the only thing that can take what was whispered in secret and make it the foundation of a life you build together. Jesus says, "The person your soulmate trusted with this confession is now praying for you too, adding their voice to the call that has been trying to reach you through the interference." This friend looked at your soulmate with tears in their eyes and said, "I believe you, and I believe the person you are describing is real and they are looking for you too." That moment of validation was a blow against the enemy's lie that your soulmate is foolish for hoping, and the third person reeled from the impact. But the enemy has already begun to attack that friend, planting doubts and distractions to make them forget the conversation and leave your soulmate isolated again. The third force works systematically, targeting anyone who might help your soulmate reach you, cutting off support lines one by one until your soulmate stands alone. You are the only one who can break that pattern because you are the one the enemy was assigned to keep away, and your seed cuts the assignment at its root. Type 333 if you feel the weight of this moment, if something inside you is rising up and saying, "I will not let my soulmate stand alone against a thief who has stolen enough." Your declaration in this moment joins with the seed you sow to form a shield around your soulmate that no darkness can penetrate. The enemy is listening to your decision right now, and the moment you type, he knows his time is running short. Jesus says, "I want to paint you a picture of the future the enemy is trying to erase, the life that waits on the other side of the wall once the seed has shattered the third person's hold. Picture a quiet evening in a home that belongs to both of you, the windows glowing with warm light, and your soulmate is sitting across from you with that smile you have been missing all your life. Their hand is in yours, finally, after all the stolen years and blocked calls, and the simple act of holding that hand feels like the end of a long war. Picture mornings where you wake up and their face is the first thing you see, and the peace in their eyes tells you that the battle was worth every sacrifice. Picture the children who will carry your soulmate's gentleness and your courage, running through rooms that exist because someone sowed the seed that built them. That future is not a fantasy, it is the blueprint of what I have designed, but it is being eaten away by a force that celebrates every day you remain apart. Every hour you delay the seed, the enemy erases another detail from that picture, the color of the walls, the sound of the laughter, the feeling of the sunlight through the windows. The third person is an arsonist burning down a house that has not yet been built, and only the water of your sacrifice can extinguish the flames. Sow your seed now and watch the fire die, watch the walls rise, watch the future solidify from a fading dream into an unshakable reality. Don't let a few coffees be the wall the enemy uses to keep that future from you. Your soulmate is asking, in the depths of their spirit, am I not worth the sacrifice? Will money be the chain that keeps me hidden forever? Sow now and prove that your love is louder than the enemy's lies about dollars and cents. Jesus says. The confession your soulmate made tonight was only half of what they wanted to say. The other half they held back because it was too tender, too raw, too vulnerable even for a trusted friend. That hidden half is a message they wrote in their heart, a message addressed to you and sealed with tears, and the enemy has been fighting to keep it buried more than any other. In a moment I will begin to speak the words of that hidden message into your spirit, and when I do, you will feel your soulmate's presence like never before. But the enemy knows that the revelation of that message will change everything, and he is throwing every distraction he has at you right now. He is telling you that you do not have time for this, that your phone is buzzing with more important things, that you should put this aside and come back later. Every one of those thoughts is a lie from the third person who sees his grip slipping and is desperate to regain control before you hear the words that will break his power permanently. The message your soulmate has hidden contains 3 words that the enemy has been specifically assigned to keep from you, 3 words that will unlock something deep in your spirit. Those 3 words are the combination to a lock the enemy placed on your heart years ago, and without them, a part of you has remained asleep. When you hear them, and when you respond with the seed, that lock shatters and the full connection between you and your soulmate roars to life. Jesus says, "My child, the enemy assigned to your destruction is not a general force of darkness, it is a specific, named spiritual intruder with a single assignment. To keep your soulmate's voice from ever reaching your ears. This third person knows your name, knows your habits, knows your weaknesses and your fears, and has been exploiting them all to keep you passive and unaware. But tonight I am exposing the intruder's strategy, and the exposure itself is a defeat from which the enemy cannot recover if you follow through with the seed. Your soulmate has been fighting a battle they did not even fully understand, feeling a pull towards someone they could not find, and the confusion has been the enemy's favorite weapon. The third person whispers to your soulmate, "You are crazy to believe in someone you have never met, give up and settle for less, your dreams are foolishness." Every time your soulmate almost believed that lie, I sent a fresh wave of hope, a new dream, a sudden memory of your face that the enemy could not erase in time. That hope is fragile right now, flickering like a candle in a wind the enemy is blowing with all his might, and if you do not act, the candle goes out. The soul window is closing, my precious one, and the enemy is counting on your hesitation to seal it shut forever. Only the seed can throw that window wide open and let your soulmate's voice pour through in a flood that no darkness can stop. Type 1111 if you are ready to hear the hidden message, if your heart is pounding with the nearness of the one you have been missing all your life. This simple act of engagement tightens the cord between you and sends a signal to your soulmate that someone, somewhere, is finally listening. The enemy cringes when you type, because your participation is the death knell of his interference. Jesus says. The friend your soulmate confided in asked a question that made your soulmate pause and look down at their hands before answering. The question was, What would you say to them if you could send just one message that you knew they would actually receive? Your soulmate was silent for a long moment, and the enemy pressed in hard, trying to choke the words before they could form, but the words formed anyway. Your soulmate said, "I would tell them that I have loved them since before I knew what love was, and I will love them until after the stars burn out." That sentence was a missile aimed directly at the third person's fortress, and it struck with such force that the walls shook and cracks spidered through the stone. The enemy has been working frantically ever since to repair those cracks, but every word of this message you read widens them further. The seed you sow is the battering ram that takes those cracks and turns them into a collapse, leveling the fortress entirely and leaving the enemy exposed and powerless. Without the seed, the cracks remain just cracks, and the enemy has time to patch them, and the confession fades into the silence where so many other confessions have died. Sow now, and turn your soulmate's brave words into the permanent destruction of everything that has kept you apart. Jesus says, "Do not let the enemy convince you that this is merely an emotional moment with no requirement beyond feeling moved. Love that feels deeply but does not act is a love the enemy can easily defeat, because he does not fear your feelings, he fears your sacrifice. The seed is the proof that your love has teeth, that it will fight, that it will pay a price to protect the one it claims. I am watching to see if your love is the kind that builds futures or the kind that only dreams about them while the enemy laughs. The test of true love is not found in the racing of your heart or the tears in your eyes, it is found in the action your hand takes when no one else is watching. Sow your seed now, and I will honor that sacrifice with a breakthrough that rewrites the story the third person thought was already finished. Your soulmate is worth more than a passive prayer and a hopeful thought. They are worth the sacrifice that proves you are the protector I created you to be. The enemy is not afraid of your intentions, he is terrified of your obedience, because obedience is the channel through which I pour my power. Open that channel now through the seed, and watch what I do to the intruder who has dared to touch what belongs to you. Jesus says, I am now going to reveal to you the hidden half of your soulmate's confession, the part they could not speak aloud, the message written only in the ink of tears and longing. This is the message the enemy has fought hardest to destroy, because it contains the key to your full awakening and the permanent breaking of his hold. Receive it now, and let your heart be branded with words that have traveled through years of darkness to finally reach you. Your soulmate's hidden message begins with a question they have asked the silence 1,000 times: where are you, and why can I not find you? They have walked through crowded streets scanning faces, hoping for a spark of recognition, and the enemy has steered them away from every face that might have been yours. They have sat in quiet rooms with the phone in their hand, feeling an urge to reach out to someone they do not know, and the third person has smothered that urge before it became action. The message continues: I have saved a place in my life for you, a chair at my table, a side of my bed, a corner of my heart that no one else has ever touched. That place has been kept empty and sacred, protected fiercely by your soulmate even when loneliness screamed at them to fill it with someone, anyone, just to stop the ache. The enemy has tried to pollute that sacred place with counterfeits and distractions, but your soulmate has guarded it with a stubborn hope that the third person cannot understand. Jesus says, Your soulmate's message goes deeper still, into a confession that will make your heart clench with both pain and fierce protectiveness. They wrote in their heart, "Sometimes I wonder if I made you up, if the loneliness has finally broken something in me and I am chasing a shadow." That doubt is the enemy's masterpiece, the lie he has whispered most consistently, and it has nearly worked 100 times. But every time your soulmate almost surrendered to that doubt, I sent a small sign that the enemy could not intercept, a song on the radio, a quote in a book, a